Welcome to TKM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Nothing is more fascinating than abandoned places, especially abandoned places at Walt Disney World. There are so many corners of the resort where attractions closed and projects were stalled, leaving behind tons of Disney history. From an empty show building that never got its ride to an iconic dome gutted for a transformation, an island that's been rotting in plain sight for decades, and more. So today, sit back as we explore 5 abandoned attraction spaces at Walt Disney World. Number 5. The Japan Pavilion at Epcot is one of the most layered pavilions in World Showcase. There are gardens, the massive Mitsukoshi store, quite a few restaurants, and a museum exhibition. But tucked all the way in the back, behind everything in guest view, sits a massive show building that's never been used. Well, it's never been used for an attraction. Unlike the Germany Pavilion where they only built part of the show building, here in Japan, the entire building was constructed. It was intended to house a rotating carousel theater attraction just like Carousel of Progress called Meet the World. The attraction was a 4-act show that would take guests through the story of Japan and its relationship with the outside world. It would feature audio animatronic figures as well as live action and animated film sequences. Well, the palace at the back of the pavilion was originally intended to be the entrance to Meet the World. Where things get even more interesting is when you look up at the exterior of the building. The scale is massive, and it's not just the facade that was built up. It's pretty much the actual height of the show building. The space used for the shop and the exhibit only use a small fraction of the first floor. That's right, the entire structure was built as a 2-story building where the second floor would house Meet the World. The original plans called for a second-story entrance into the palace accessible from the garden side and the stairs at the front. In this layout of the pavilion by late Imagineer Harper Goff, it gives you an idea of how the space was meant to be set up. On the second story, the area above where the gallery is today was supposed to be the queue and pre-show, which then would lead into stage 1 of the theater. After you exited stage 4, there was an exhibition with a staircase back down to ground level with more exhibits where the shop currently is today. The funny thing is that these back areas have always felt underutilized. They were designed to absorb large amounts of people with an attraction and not just sell merchandise. So now you're probably wondering why Disney constructed a full show building and never built an attraction inside the space. Well, it's never been officially confirmed by Disney, but the most likely story, based on what's been published by insiders, is that there were structural issues with the building. Primarily, the building dimensions were wrong and beams were placed where they shouldn't have been. The structure as is wouldn't have been able to support a rotating theater attraction. When Imagineers realized this problem, Epcot was already severely over budget and there wouldn't be enough time or resources to get the building fixed by opening day. So Disney had a show building, but not one that could safely or realistically host an attraction. So the project was just abandoned. Although Meet the World never made it to Epcot, it did, however, open at Tokyo Disneyland as an opening day attraction in 1983. Today, the show building behind the Japan Pavilion is being used as backstage storage as well as a maintenance area for Epcot. So next time you are in Japan and walk into those deeper back spaces, pay attention to how it all feels. How wide it is, how it pulls you in, how it almost feels like the stage is being set for something much bigger than a gift shop. In the 80s, other ride concepts were proposed like a Mount Fuji roller coaster, but nothing ever materialized. So, if Disney was to ever build an attraction or ride in the space, what would you want to see? Number 4. If you've visited Magic Kingdom in the last 8 years, it's almost certain that you've walked by one of the most notorious dead and abandoned attraction spaces in Tomorrowland. Of course, I am talking about Stitch's Great Escape. The attraction opened in 2004, replacing the former extraterrestrial alien encounter. Stitch found a home in Tomorrowland as a way to lighten up the tone since Alien Encounter was too intense and was known for frightening kids. Stitch's Great Escape followed a more comedic, family-friendly tone, and it reused most of the attraction infrastructure, props, and effects. So instead of a terrifying alien breathing down your neck, it was Stitch burping a chili dog in your face. Now, over the years, Stitch's Great Escape became one of those one-and-done attractions. Fans of Alien Encounter felt it went too far in the opposite direction, and it just dwindled in popularity. By October of 2016, the attraction was officially switched to seasonal operations. This meant it would only open during peak attendance periods like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the summer break. Then in October of 2017, Disney began using the first pre-show room as a Stitch meet and greet, but at this point, Stitch's Great Escape was closed more than it was open. After its run for the 2017 Christmas season, Disney kept the attraction as temporarily closed, but little did we know that January 6, 2018 was its last operating day. In October of 2018, photos began circling online showing that some of the sets and animatronics were dismantled. It solidified that the attraction would not be back. It wasn't until July of 2020 when Disney officially announced that Stitch's Great Escape was permanently closed. For years, there were rumblings and rumors that a Wreck-It Ralph attraction would move in, as this IP could definitely fit Tomorrowland, but nothing ever came to fruition. The entire attraction has just been left abandoned. A lot of the infrastructure is still intact, although all the animatronics have been removed. Today, the attraction is classified as backstage since the pre-show areas and hallways are used as a cast member break room. This Reddit user said it's a very creepy, smelly break room, and the theater itself is sometimes used for meetings. Imagine sitting in one of those seats for a meeting. I mean, count me in. So the burning question now is, why has the space remained empty without an attraction for 8 years? Well, the one theory that keeps coming up a lot online is asbestos, and honestly, it makes sense. Asbestos insulation was used heavily in the 60s and 70s, and the original Tomorrowland show buildings fall right into that era. If Disney ever wanted to do any major demolition here, they would likely need a full containment and abatement process to remove the asbestos. It's completely safe when it's left intact, but once it gets disturbed, that's where asbestos becomes a big problem. When you look at Tomorrowland's track record of reimagining attractions, Disney usually avoids big demos. The Timekeeper space was largely reused as is for Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Buzz Lightyear kept the same basic ride path as If You Had Wings, and even the two-theater layout from Flight to the Moon carried over into Alien Encounter and then Stitch. Disney has never altered the configuration of these spaces for a very specific reason. The bigger issue is that this side of Tomorrowland is essentially just one massive building. So to gut the theaters safely and to contain the asbestos, you'd need to close everything in these buildings. This includes Cosmic Rays and even the People Mover since it travels right through the building. Frankly, closing Cosmic Rays temporarily would be a huge hit because it's one of the park's biggest quick-service dining locations. So if the asbestos theory is true, which I believe it is, then it explains why nothing has been done. Now, sure, Disney could still reuse that theater in the round setup for a new attraction, but I'm not sure that format fits the wants of guests today. I mean, at this point, who knows how long it's gonna stay abandoned. Number 3. Next, let's talk about one of the largest abandoned spaces at Epcot, and it's not just one building, it's an entire pavilion. The Wonders of Life Pavilion opened in 1989 as a place where Disney somehow turned nutrition, fitness, and medicine into theme park entertainment, a true testament of the time. Cranium Command and Body Wars were the two main attractions in the pavilion, but over time, Wonders of Life slowly slipped into that familiar Epcot pattern. Reduced hours, seasonal operations, and then it officially closed in 2007. The good news, though, is that it wasn't completely dead because in September of 2007, Disney used it as the festival center for the Food and Wine Festival. Until 2018, it was continuously used for the Flower and Garden Festival in the spring, and then Food and Wine in the fall. This meant there were still times guests could explore inside, although neither Body Wars or Cranium Command ever operated again. Well, in 2019, Disney made the big announcement that the long-dormant dome would now become the Play Pavilion. This interactive metropolis would allow guests to discover a city bursting with games, activities, and other experiences. It would feature an Edna Mode attraction, live entertainment, interactive games, and more. Many of us Disney fans were just excited that this iconic building would be getting a new life. But this is where the story takes a turn. Permits filed in 2019 mentioned the interior would be completely gutted, and another permit was filed to fabricate and install show set pieces. There was no way to really track progress indoors, but it sounded like work on the Play Pavilion was moving forward. Then in March of 2020, COVID hits. During this time, budgets tighten, construction priorities shift, and the Play Pavilion stops getting talked about for a long time. This had us questioning its fate. When Cosmic Rewind opened in May of 2022, Disney paved and landscaped over the entrance to Wonders of Life, which wasn't a great sign. There were already rumors that the project was cancelled, and it turned out the writing was on the wall. In January of 2023, Disney released a new Epcot map, and for the first time in 3 years, the future Home of Play label had been removed. Disney later confirmed they were reevaluating the original concept for the Play Pavilion. All that time and money spent on the project was just thrown down the drain, leaving us kinda where we started. Wonders of Life sitting completely abandoned, unused, and now gutted. Based on photos that circulated last year online, imagine something like this but a dome with the interior down to the steel frame. It just looks like a construction site. Even the interior of the Cranium Command Theater is gutted. In terms of Body Wars, the queue is still intact, but all the simulators were removed years ago. We were so close to Wonders of Life getting a true second life, but it's unclear if something new will ever take its place. Who knows how long it'll stay abandoned, and rumors always come up about how it might get demolished. I'd hate to see it happen since it's such an iconic structure at Epcot, but honestly, it might be the easiest way to make way for something new. Number 2. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's a missing experience that's not hidden, but it's just been abandoned or I guess unused for quite some time now. I'm talking about the former Jedi Training Academy stage right beside Star Tours. The show officially opened in October of 2007, and it used to be one of the most memorable interactive shows in the park. I'm sure quite a few of you watching got to participate. You'd sign up first thing in the morning, get trained as Padawans, and then face off against Star Wars villains like Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, all while the crowd cheered you on. Well, today, the Jedi Training Academy stage remains empty because since the COVID shutdown, the show has not returned. When the parks reopened in 2020, live entertainment was one of the last things to return, so it made sense at the time. We were all hopeful it would return, but in 2022, the show was removed from the Disney World website, and then in July, they removed the sign, which pretty much sealed its fate. In May of 2023, Plan Disney responded to a question about Jedi Training Academy, and they said that at the present time, it doesn't appear there were plans for the show to return. Now, Jedi Training Academy was meant for kids ages 4 to 12, and in a park with very limited things to do for kids, its absence is definitely felt today. It's an abandoned, dedicated performance space, so why hasn't anything been done with it? Well, the obvious culprit to blame would be budget cuts, but allegedly, some sort of issues under the stage are preventing it from being used safely. See, when Star Wars Launch Bay closed, they quickly needed a spot for Darth Vader to meet, so they just threw him into the Star Tours queue over in Ewok Village. It's kind of a random spot for Vader, but it would make a lot more sense for him to meet on the Jedi Training Academy stage. He could make an entrance like he did during the show, creating this whole epic moment. Now, they wouldn't be able to do this though if structural issues under the stage are truly the problem. My fear is that the stage will sit abandoned and idle for too long that it becomes easier to demolish the whole thing than repair it. Honestly, Jedi Training Academy would be one of the easiest abandoned Disney World attractions to revive, so the question becomes, will Disney ever do it? What do you think? Number 1. The largest abandoned attraction at Walt Disney World is hidden in plain sight right across from the Fort Wilderness Resort area.
It's an island in the middle of Bay Lake, transformed into a beautiful zoological garden. Discovery Island is a recreation of a tropical rainforest.
Discovery Island originally opened as Treasure Island in April of 1974 and then received the name change in 1977. The island was home to a variety of animal exhibits representing 130 different species, with most of them being birds. At the time, Discovery Island actually featured one of the largest walk-through aviaries. Now, once Disney's Animal Kingdom opened in April of 1998, attendance at Discovery Island began to decline. The shiny new theme park was drawing visitors away, so Disney decided to shut down the island. April 8, 1999 marked its last operating day. Over the course of a few months, all the animals found new homes, which included nearby zoos, and some were even brought to Disney's Animal Kingdom. What was once an attraction to explore and learn slowly became unrecognizable as the vegetation began to reclaim the land. This is what the island looked like in 2003, just 4 years after it shut down. You can see the boat dock is still intact, there's that white sandy beach, and a lot of the buildings are visible. Even in 2011, you can still see the netting from the aviary already collecting all the dead leaves. When Disney closed the island, everything aside from the animals were left behind. All the buildings were still intact, but after over 25 years of being abandoned, nature has taken over. When you're taking the boat to and from the Fort Wilderness area, you get pretty close to the island. Now it's pretty much just a wall of greenery that you can't see through, with a small boat dock still intact. The island has weathered many hurricanes, tropical storms, and even some urban exploration. This is police body cam footage from 2020 as they searched for someone who decided to camp out on the island. Now, I have to say that you should never attempt to sneak onto Discovery Island or any of Disney's other abandoned spaces. Not only is it dangerous, but you will be trespassing and you will probably get trespassed from the property. You do not want that. Now, this footage is already over 5 years old, but it shows the state of the island. It's just fascinating yet incredibly eerie to see. I can only imagine what it's like to walk through here, seeing everything that's just been rotting away all these years. The building interiors are falling apart with dirt and debris everywhere. What you're looking at used to be the Discovery Island headquarters and the animal hospital. It was the largest building on the island, and it's definitely seen better days. Now, with an animal hospital comes animal cages, and as you can see, there are plenty of them just sitting empty through what used to be a backstage hallway. Tons of other backstage areas are overgrown with foliage, and who knows what kind of critters and reptiles have moved in. I mean, if they want, there's some free animal cages. I never got to experience Discovery Island myself, and I really wish I had. Just to think that today, thousands of guests pass by the island every single day and don't even know what's sitting abandoned right in front of them. I would love for Disney to make use of the island again, but logistically, its remote location makes it very challenging. Realistically, I think this is one of those abandoned attraction spaces that will probably stay abandoned forever. So with that said, out of all the attractions on the list today, which one do you think will see a new attraction first? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.